Okay, friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning there. Good morning there. This is a Wednesday live stream once again. Here we are, ready to go. So, what an honor. We are live on Rumble as well, live on The Heart of the Matter, and live on Luke and Live. Good. Well. Who's with us today? Who's joining us? Could you hear us okay? Let us know where you're joining us from. If you happen to be new to the channel, how did you come to discover the channel? Please let us know. We have a lot to talk about today.
Oh, do we?
Yeah. Right before we went live, somebody dropped a bomb on us. Thank you, Darth Vader, for bringing this one to our attention. Hey,
Always.
Melissa, hello from Michigan. We glad you're here.
Good morning, Mad Cat.
Good morning there.
Hey, Pam.
Yes, indeed. God. Well, it's really an exciting week, man. I'll tell you what, we have a lot to be grateful for. And I think I've entitled this thing, Trump Keeps Winning, no matter what they try to do to him. And I think I had the right title in mind because right before we got on the live stream today, Nikki Haley just dropped out of the race. I was like, oh boy. What are they going to do now? That was... Oh, Lord, what are they going to do? Because I cannot think of a single individual from the Democratic Party who can go against Trump and actually get the level of attention and voting base that he has. I can't see that happening in the next few months. It's an impossible thing.
I could think of possibly one.
Which one?
Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, you might get Californians to vote for him. That's probably it. Because I think some Dems will back him up, but I'm not sure if the entire country will.
Maybe not the entire country, but I think he could get enough Democrats behind him to, maybe put up dent. Because he is pretty charismatic.
Yeah, sex. What do they call him? A
snake oil salesman.
Snake oil salesman. He's pretty good at it. I have to give him that though. Yeah. Interesting enough.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is that, I mean, it's like they don't understand the more they persecute the man, the more of a martyr they make him. It's like you guys you're playing right into his hand.
You would have been better off just leaving him alone. So let's say hello to some of the people in the chat room before we dive into this. They've turned the man into a superhero. They did that. So good morning, Matt Cater, Pam. Good morning, everyone.
Luisa
or
Luisa.
Luisa. Okay. Benedito. All right. Good morning there. Oh my Lord. Yeah. That's huge. Tim Ring, the mega base is here as well. So
good morning, Rosita.
Wow, from Santiago, Chile. That's cool.
All right.
Let's go. Yeah, not gonna trip again. All right. Good morning there. From Philly. All right, my friend. Close to me. I'm in Reading. All right. Awake. Anyway, friends, we just want to thank you guys for joining us today. So listen, let's begin with the shocking revelation here because that one just fell on our lap right before we went live.
Like literally moments.
So let's take a listen to this.
And first and foremost, I need you to hit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, I need you to hit the like button and hit the share button. The more you do that, the more the algorithms pick us up and we beat Facebook's censorship. Also, I need you to support the sponsors that support us. Joe Biden's economy is horrible. Your dollar does not have the same power that it once did. And I'm asking you to either click on the link or text the word Graham to 989898 right now. Literally, Vladimir Putin said on Tucker Carlson that they are deliberately trying to tank the U.S. dollar. It is free information, a free information kit to protect yourself and your family. Text the word Graham to 989898 right now for my friends at Birch Gold. All right. So Nikki Haley, we just watched her concession speech live on Dear America, and I was absolutely, as Cat Williams would say, flabbergasted to see that when she got to the point of endorsing Donald Trump or not, she decided to say that she's not going to endorse Donald Trump. And it is now Donald Trump's job to convince the people that supported her to vote for him. In other words, Nikki Haley has just proven to be a Democrat plant that she is going to do anything and everything she can to try to divide the base. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not complicated. When you run a primary and you lose, the ultimate goal is for conservatives and Republicans to take back the White House. What other reason would this treacherous, wicked witch of the West or East, or whichever one was the bad one in Wizard of Oz? I don't know. West, thank you. What other reason? Comment below. Comment below. Do you believe that Nikki Haley is a Democrat plant? I'm beginning to think so, because what you do when you don't lose is you go to the people that supported you and you're like, hey, the majority of the American people have spoken. I'm not it. So I'm asking you to get behind the person that the majority has spoken for, because we have to take back the White House. This chick essentially said the equivalent of the Southern bless your heart, which we all know when you say it like that, it is not a good thing at all. This woman has proven that she does not care about America. She does not care about the future of America. She only cares about herself. And if she can't win it, then she's going to do everything she can to sabotage Donald Trump win, because she actually doesn't want what's best for you. She wants what's best for Nikki Haley. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you to like this and share this far and wide, because I am offering an olive branch to all Nikki Haley voters. I realize only 20% of you were actually Republicans and the rest of you were Democrats. But for the 20% of people that actually voted for Nikki Haley in these primaries, I'm offering an olive branch. It is time for us to get ready for the general election in November. It is time for us to join together. If you're voting for Donald Trump, comment below. If you think Nikki Haley is trying to sabotage Trump because she's really a Democrat, I'm really starting to believe this to be true. Comment below. Also, support the sponsors that support us. They're the reason we keep being allowed to come to you free and uninhibited by Facebook's censorship.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
about
Like seriously, she's trying everything she can to put a stump in the road, and like he said, it's the Southern equivalent of saying "bless your heart," which is essentially saying "go yourself."
It's pathetic. But the thing is, she has somewhat been showing she is not someone you can actually trust. So this is not like the first time Nikki Haley has lied.
No.
Let me put a video up for you, because when the INC had them vowing, saying that they will support whoever the presidential candidate is, she did vow. And then she went on MSNBC and said what she said here.
taken the prospect, the possibility of endorsing him off the table at this point?
It's not anything I think about. What I have
But
said
is it off the table, Ambassador? It sounds like you are in a different place. Are people misinterpreting what you're saying? Have you moved to a place where you're no longer planning to endorse him?
Well, I think first of all, if you talk about an endorsement, you're talking about a loss. I don't think like that. When you're in a race, you don't think about losing. You think about continuing to go forward. What I can tell you is I don't think Donald Trump or Joe Biden should be president. I don't think that we need two candidates in their 80s. I don't think we want a Joe Biden who calls his opponents fascists or a Donald Trump who calls his opponents vermin. No one wants that. I think people want a new generational leader that is going to go back to what the American dream is, what we want for our kids, in a place that's something that we can be proud of again.
Let me try it this way. You did sign a pledge, an RNC pledge, to support the eventual nominee. Do you still feel bound by that pledge?
I have always said that I have serious concerns about Donald Trump. I have even more concerns about Joe Biden.
So is that a no? Are you bound by the RNC pledge?
The RNC pledge, I mean, at the time of the debate, we had to take it to where, would you support the nominee? And you had to, in order to get on that debate stage, you said yes. The RNC is now not the same RNC. Now it's
So you're no
Trump's
longer bound
daughter-in-law.
by that pledge?
No, I think I'll make what decision I want to make, but that's
Come on, man. Make up your mind. This is
Come on. I mean, I was in the military. I took a pledge, not once, but twice. I even being out of the military, I'm still bound by that pledge until the day I die.
Absolutely. And it's okay if you took a pledge and you've changed your mind. At least give people a reason why you've decided to change your mind. And it's okay, because I'm okay with you saying you love me today and you hate me tomorrow. But if you're going to change your mind, at least
admit it.
Admit it and give people reasons why you've decided to do so. We will still respect you when you do that. But what you're doing here is that one foot in, one foot out kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you, but I'm not with you. And this is the issue here. And this is the same thing. This type of mentality, this is why you cannot win. This is why you have to be dropped out. The American people can see right through that. Because if you could change your mind just like that and you're unwilling to speak about it, when the power is given to you, what would you do with it? You can say all the stuff you're saying now, but when then you are in a position of leadership, what are you going to do? You're going to change your mind. You're going to start more wars. You're going to do this and do that, which is going to put us in a bigger situation as a country. We can't have that. We can't have that. That's why you had to go. But again, this is nothing new because there's a history. Listen to what else she says. She's not done.
It's not something I'm thinking about. And I think that while y'all think about that, I'm looking at the fact that we had thousands of people in Virginia. We're headed to North Carolina. We're going to continue to go to Vermont and Maine and all these states to go and show people that there is a path forward. And so I don't look at what ifs. I look at how do we continue the conversation.
Yeah, get ready for this because it gets even worse, right? And again, what she's simply telling you, I can't stand for anything. I have a position today. She's like water. She takes the shape of whatever cup she's in. That's pretty much what she's saying. She's not really a person that I will say is anybody should be backing up. Anyway, listen to this.
And we will get them. But I will not now, not ever, support raising the gas tax. Finally, let's increase the gas tax by 10 cents over the next 3 years.
I would not run if President Trump ran.
I'm Nikki Haley, and I'm running for president.
Every person on social media should be verified by their name.
I never said government should go and require anyone's name.
But what we do know is 65 is way too low, and we need to increase that.
For claiming the retirement age is, quote, way too low.
I have never once said that.
I never said Hillary Clinton was an inspiration. I went with my friend Eleanor Kitzman to a Furman leadership program where Hillary Clinton was speaking. And I walked out of there and I said, I'm running for office.
That's a problem right there. And again,
that's a huge problem. I mean, when you sit there and constantly contradict yourself,
oh my Lord,
it's like, what do you stand for?
Yeah.
it's the old adage, if you stand for nothing, you fall for anything.
Fall for anything. No backbones whatsoever. I mean, the condition in which we're in right now as a nation, there is no way a Nikki Haley would have been a good pick. not with this attitude and perception of her. This is destructive. This is bad. I'm so glad that she decided to do the right thing. She left. It's like,
well, honestly, it came down to it. She didn't have a choice in the matter because of the fact that
yeah,
Trump won Super Tuesday,
yeah, that was the end of it. There's no
and
coming
that
back
was
from
the
it.
end of her race.
I don't know why she kept on riding this horse. And again, it goes back to what Graham Allen said. She was definitely a plant. She had to be a plant because she kept on. It was like for her, it's stripping away the votes. I don't think she ever thought she had a chance to win. It was more, what can I take away from Trump? You know,
Yeah, exactly.
And that was the idea, and I think that was her mission as a whole. But guess what? Doesn't change a thing. Trump is still winning.
Trump still won.
It's ridiculous. I mean, what do you call him? Teflon Don? The
Yep.
more you throw at the man is the more powerful he's become. And I wish the media will actually get this by now, but they keep on inflating Trump. He's like a big balloon, man. The more you talk about him, the bigger he gets. And Trump loves the attention, and he understands even good and positive vibes works in his favor. And I wish people would understand that and stop wasting their time going after Trump in a negative way.
And even the negative energy, he just soaks it up and
yeah,
turns it against him.
He knows what to do, man. And Trump is so good. He would say things like, would you be a dictator? He said, yeah, for one day. And then he went on to say what he said. He know by him saying that. I think Trump is a lot smarter than we give him credit for. He knows by saying that the media is going to lose their minds. And guess what? The media did lose their minds. And guess what people now begin to do? They begin to check out what else Trump is saying. And this is when you begin to discover, oh, what the media is saying is propaganda. This is the reality of the substance of the man. And guess what? He gets more people to vote for him. So even when the media goes after hating in Trump, oh, he's a racist. Oh, he's got a shoe. And we're going to talk about that shoe today, right? The gold shoe, the gold Trump shoe.
Oh, yeah.
Sneakers.
This sold out.
Yeah. They're trying to make it look like it's a racist thing for black people to love shoes. It's like, excuse me. I got my hands up here.
I was gonna say that's what you guys do.
I have a stepson upstairs. If I show you his room, yeah. I mean, this stuff are still in boxes. We talk about $125 to $300 pairs of shoes. That's a common thing. I'm like,
and most of them have never been worn.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're still in the box. They're brand new shoes. I'm like, my Lord. I mean, I'll go to New Balance and I'll get something here and there. I don't have expensive stuff, but if you go to the average black man and see what they dress, I'm like, are you out of your mind? It's just a culture. When Trump said what he said, he wasn't lying. Like,
no.
And that's what black people loves about Trump too, the ones that are for Trump, because he's like, yo, Trump is real. And I do have a video where we're going to talk about that as well. So yeah, anyway, let's go with JP right now. Let's see what JP has for us on the screen. And we share some thoughts at the end.
Good evening, asshole. Instead of being bothered by unpleasant truths, tonight we'll be giving you your 8th booster of comforting lies. Tonight you'll learn how diseases from China, the climate, and a former president all will be killing you, unless you listen to us, because we're here to help. And also, girls' teams filled with boys are doing quite well for some reason. Our top story, and perhaps the greatest contributor to climate change, President Trump. After colluding with Russia for centuries, orchestrating an insurrection against the U.S. while he was in office, because that makes sense, and also probably being a serial killer, a New York judge has ordered Trump to pay $355 million in a civil fraud case. The fraudulent civil fraud case alleges that Trump inflated. This just in! This is definitely not a witch hunt, guys. This one is serious. Trump inflated property values in order to secure lower interest rates from banks on business loans. The definitely impartial judge in New York ordered Trump to pay an amount that, based on the nature of his crimes, is calculated to hurt him in his 2024 campaign. As Trump should have been paying higher interest rates to the centralized banking system, this ruling is a step of justice and finally someone doing something to protect big banks from citizens who aren't completely controlled by the banking system.
All right, hold on. I want to say something on that. Have you heard what the New York AG's been doing?
What have they been doing?
On her Twitter account, each day she's been posting updates of the interest rate of the payout for the settlement that he's racking up while he appeals the decision.
Okay.
On her personal Twitter account.
Okay. Say on.
This
who is the individual you mentioned?
The AG that
The AG.
that prosecuted him.
Oh.
In New York.
Okay, I shouldn't be shocked about this. I don't know why.
So she's like, well, that's another 1.5%. This is the new tally, blah, 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 blah. On her Twitter account each day. Letitia James. Yes, thank you, Mad Catter. I couldn't think of her name.
Okay, Letitia James. So she did say she wanted to go after his assets.
Yeah.
So,
and she's giving daily reports on how much the toll keeps going up every day.
Yeah.
And can we say conflict of interest?
Absolutely. I think she's about to have a downfall, similar to the Fannie Willis downfall.
Oh, yeah.
All we have to do is wait. And I think it's good to allow her to expose herself. It seems to me these black women anti-Trumpers that are being used by the Democratic Party to go after Trump, they always fall apart. All you have to do is wait, because they eventually roast themselves by saying too much because they can't keep quiet, but because they think they're doing something so good. Yeah. Just allow her. Let her speak. I would say don't go after her, because we want to save those tweets.
No. I'm just saying that,
Yeah.
She's putting this stuff out there for the whole world to see.
Wow.
While she runs her mouth, and he's in the process of trying to appeal. And it's like, okay, go ahead. You keep running your mouth.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Have fun with that.
Yeah.
Let's see how much that backfires on you.
Yeah. Crazy. All right. Thank you. Well, I'm on a live stream already, so I can't really change that. I can edit that later. Thank you so much, Roque. Yeah, it was a copy and paste that I didn't finish. Grab the letter T. All right, let's keep going.
In the case, but the 2024 election will come first, so who the f cares? Next up, in How You're Gonna Die Unless You Listen to Us news, the always trusted World Health Organization has warned that Disease X, oddly enough made in China, is coming. And it's a matter of when, not if. What contagious disease experts understand when they look at the gene sequencing of Disease X is that it's an election year, so of course it's coming. Also worth noting that you should not consider exactly why the World Health Organization knows for certain that it will be coming. It's science. This just in! Things like Event 201, though documented, never really happened. And in breaking climate change news, science has discovered that if you eat more bugs and pay more money to the government, then the weather will be more gooder.
Have you heard the recent news about, I mean, he mentioned it, what happened with, Pestilence 19, for a lack of words, since we're on this sensitive platform. They are now treating it. The CDC put out some guidelines saying that Pestilence 19 pandemic should be treated as a flu.
Yeah.
And
because essentially that's all it is, really. Is just hyper flu.
Yeah, but we were told to roll up our sleeves and take on the supposed
pokey poke.
Yeah, the pokey poke, the inoculation, or else you were a problem to society. You were the worst thing that ever happened in the world. So what they are essentially saying, all of that fear-mongering thing that we've experienced was just a big,
nothing burger. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. Say what you want. I'm just gonna sit over here and do me.
Yeah. studies, and they had studies show. Look at John Hopkins. They had studies done in 2020 saying, no, it's not the flu. So we were told one thing. We were made to be afraid. We were told to go along with it or else. Over 75% of people in this country has rolled up their sleeve. Monies were made. Sharers made money. And now in 2024, he's like, oh, nothing burger.
And people died.
Let's talk about the next thing. Yeah, how many people died, how many heart attacks, and all these issues that people had that are still yet to be investigated, and yet they have yet to admit if it has any relationship. But hey, let's just treat it like a flu. Why couldn't we do that? Why couldn't we do that the whole time?
Mhm.
Why did strengthening our immune system was a bad idea? Why did we have to put this thing in our body in the first place?
We
Well,
did.
some of us. Anyway, let's keep going. I just thought that was very interesting. So we're supposed to just forgive and forget, and let's move on, right? All right, fine, sure.
That's right. The idea that governments have weather control capabilities using the most sophisticated technology available is nothing more than a wacko conspiracy theory. Yet the idea that you can control the weather by changing what you eat is very sound, rational, scientific fact. And lastly, on the topic of science, a rather disturbing discovery. It's been uncovered that 97% of scientists agree with whoever is funding them. Accordingly, it is terribly unnerving to learn that there's 3% of scientists out there who don't and are clearly putting your health and well-being at risk. We will stay committed to stopping them. In sporting news, the high school high jump state championships in New Hampshire had a boy winning. This had all the girls losing. Just another positive step forward for women's empowerment. But a collegiate girls volleyball team in Toronto looked at that and said, hold my scrotum. They had not one, but 5 boys competing on their team. This just in.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
Ladies, you are in trouble, okay?
Oh,
If you've ever looked for the misogynistic among us, well, we found them.
right.
Look no further. Talking about women's right.
Volleyball, a team has
Where's the women's right when it comes to this? Where are their rights?
Exactly.
Where are their rights?
Where's all the feminists?
Yeah, where are the feminists when you need them? That's a good question. Yeah, I've heard a video of a feminist who used to get upset if she goes to the gym or something and a man opens the door for her. She got offended. Dare you open the door for me? Hold the door for me. I'm a woman. I can figure this thing out. I'm strong and independent woman. I said, okay. So you think it's such a bad thing for a man to open the door for you to show kindness and gentleness? It's okay, fine. Now we got a bunch of men playing among the girls, and some of them are causing concussion to the ladies.
Nothing but crickets.
Can you say something about that? Just
crickets.
Yeah. But we are the xenophobe and the homophobe and the misogynistic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, whatever.
boys competing on their team. This just in. In volleyball, a team has 6 players on the court. For this team, 5 out of 6 were boys. Now, you'll never believe this, but this team of boys actually dominated. Now, there has been some backlash against the team. However, this is just going to have to be the way it is until sporting organizations band together and collectively decide to form a boys division. Until that time, there's only one place for boys to compete. That's the girls division. And in very sad news that threatens our national security, the House has recently...
Have you also noticed that it's not the other way around?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you never see women going into boys' sports and excelling.
Yeah, if you really believe in all that transitioning stuff, right? Why aren't the ladies going to play the football games? Go ahead.
Oh, they tried. They tried. They had a female kicker. She actually kicked a football like 10 yards.
All right.
She tried out in the NFL and actually got to try to kick a field goal from, I think it was like 35 yards out.
Yeah.
And it went 10 yards. And she was like a professional soccer player.
Oh wow, even better.
Like, I'm like,
Oh man, and I know my ladies are strong emotionally, and we're not here making fun of women. All I'm simply saying is this mixing that's going on here. It's not safe for the women. It's not safe.
no, it's not meant to be. It's not
It's
the
not meant to.
way God intended.
Nope, it's not. That's not how we treat our women. This is not right. But Lord have mercy. It's crazy, man. What's going on here?
In very sad news that threatens our national security, the House has recently impeached Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas. The band of Republicans in the House who got impeachment happy believe that Mayorkas deliberately making the border as unsecure as possible is somehow a threat to border security. Pretty much baseless claims. But as the story goes, for many high-level government people, Mayorkas can likely expect a cushy job in private industry. Perhaps he'll be directly hired as a human trafficker himself, be hired as a CEO of ISIS, or sit on the board for the cartels. Either way, as effective as he's been in his government position, he'll likely be even more effective at his job once he makes the move to the private sector. That's it for today's news. You've been fed a full dose of comforting lies that we tell you are truths, and you're welcome. And we hope you die soon. We're doing our best on that. But until you do, please be as compliant and thoughtless as possible while forgetting your humanity. Have a beautiful evening. Good night.
JP is crazy, man. He said, "I hope you dice."
But he's not wrong. I mean, that's pretty much how the government sees it.
See how that's how they feel about us. Oh Lord have mercy. I don't know, man. I think there is some very intentional evil going on here. It's not even like my opinion anymore, my thought and perspective anymore. It's not even about politics. It's like there's some really dark, shady stuff happening.
Mhm.
Even from the perspective of Donald Trump, it's like it's not even like politics anymore. It's pure hateful and bigotry. It's like, oh, I see your heart. You're very wicked.
Well, that's like what they're trying to do in Colorado. They're trying to put an additional 11% sales tax on gun sales
Wonder why.
because for mass violence, because they want legal gun owners to pay for the crimes of
Illegal.
bad actors.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
So now you're up to 22% sales tax on any pew-pew that you buy in Colorado. Basically, what they're trying to do is make it impossible for the average person to own any type of firearm,
Yeah.
and price out them in Colorado.
I wonder if it is okay by law to purchase a firearm outside of your state. I wonder.
No,
I'm not sure how the law goes.
because that goes into interstate commerce laws. If you purchase a gun out of state and take it over state lines, then you're going into crossing state lines and interstate commerce laws.
Wow. Whew.
Yeah. So it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And that you get the ATF on you about.
Yeah.
And actually New York is currently wrapped up in a lawsuit where they currently have a lawsuit filed against them from Newsmax. One of the reporters was carrying concealed while reporting in New York, but they refused to recognize his permit from another state. So he's suing New York State in order to, because out-of-state residents can't have a concealed carry permit in New York State. So one of two things is going to happen. Either New York may end up having to issue out-of-state people concealed carry permits.
One.
Worst case scenario.
Oh, he will lose his license.
Or two, best case scenario, we get nationwide reciprocity,
Mm.
which means you can conceal carry anywhere.
Which I doubt is ever going to
Which, well, I mean, it's a possibility.
Depending on who is in the White House and everything, there's a whole lot behind that.
Yeah.
You see, there's a lot of politics behind that.
My concern is if it gets up to the Supreme Court, there's a lot of people on the Supreme Court that kind of wishy-washy. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Amy Coney Barrett, that we thought would be like great conservative judge and all this and that and the other thing,
but
and go by the letter of the law, doesn't seem to be quite that as conservative as we thought she might be.
Yeah, when it comes to certain things.
Yeah. So I mean, especially with 2A rights, a lot of times she votes against 2A rights.
Yeah.
She's usually in the dissenting opinions. So that's a bit of a concern.
Of course. Yeah. Wow. Anyway, I mean, I think that was a good one from JP as well.
Just some updates for you on things that are going on in the 2A world.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Have you heard of this video? Have you heard about this? Well, our favorite girl, City Girl Mayor, she went on the Roland Martin show.
Oh, goodness.
And not only she...
I know her last town meeting did not go well for her.
Well, she went on this show and lied in his face. Now, this is him doing a reaction to his show, and now he's saying he's got the receipts.
Oh.
And I was laughing a little bit. I'm like, wait a minute, brother man, wait a minute, brother man. We talk about this woman in our channel. We came with the receipts before we talk about her. You're supposed to be a well-trained Roland Martin, worked for CNN at one time, kind of journalist. You did not bring the receipts before the interview?
Yeah.
He was able to lie to your face. It's after she left. Now you've done your investigation. Now you want to call her back to come. What kind of journalist work is that? I'm not a journalist, but we've done a much better job than you did. You know what's going on here? This is identity politics. No, this is black women in power. You can't touch her. And I want you to notice his hypocrisy.
Oh, she plays that card very well.
She played him so bad. But I could tell he wasn't ignorant. Because when you look at his videos, he like to fact check people, especially if they're black conservatives. Fact check. Call them out on his shows. Yell at them when they speak. But here goes a woman. She sat there and lied to your face. No wonder why your video got 23,000 dislikes and 6,000 likes. You know
what? That's ratioed.
Your own audience didn't like what you did. I mean, I had to leave a comment. I had to give them a piece of my mind. But I want you to know this, what somebody said, and I had to copy this before you watch the video. Oh, Roland, you forgot to ask her about her arrest. Let me make this a little bit bigger because it's pretty amazing what's going on. His own audience is roasting him for him being so political, for him choosing one side above the other. It's willful blindness. And look at this. Her arrest for car theft, you forgot to ask about that. Having a political rival's house shot up.
It wasn't her rival's house. It was her house.
It was her own house. She set up her own thing. Firing the police chief, locking the clerk out of her office, refusing to allow the council into government buildings, closing down bars who refuse to support her, the lawsuit from local businesses, refusal to release public records of the press to the press, the police cars being repossessed, her being investigated by the FBI, Section 8 fraud, her food truck failing health standards.
Do you know why they put Section 8 fraud?
Yeah.
Because one of the members of her city council is filing for bankruptcy, and he failed to put two of his jobs on the bankruptcy application
Oh, okay. Okay. I wonder if it's the same
as
guy.
income.
I wonder if it's the same guy who created that supposed little business. What do you call it? The nonprofit organization for her. The cancer.
I think it's the guy that's supposed to be running the he's supposed to take care of the accounting affairs that has no idea what he's doing and says that they hire some. If you watch her latest town hall meeting, he even admits he has no idea what he's doing. They just hire somebody to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Like everyone else, she's hired.
Yeah, pretty much.
People with records on, people who like touching children and all on. Those were hired by her too. Anyway, having said that, the reason we're talking about this woman, guys, we're talking about a prime example of an individual who had been DEI hired, and because of the color of their skin, identity politics, and so on, is in a position now where she is doing things to Black people. And keep in mind, she's also Black. Goes to show you cannot vote for people because of skin color, because of their gender. You have to look at merits, character, and what they stand for as far as value is concerned. If you don't make these decisions, this is how you end up with this type of woman. And now here is a man who is trying to clean up his mess.
I have a verse for this too.
Oh, please, I can't wait. Here is a man who's trying to clean up his mess after he done messed up so terribly. Let's watch him trying to make things look better. Let's take a look.
All right, folks, last night on Roland Martin Unfiltered, I talked to the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, in an exclusive interview about a variety of allegations against her. She's got national attention, a lot of critics out there with regards to how she's operated as the mayor of Dalton as well as the supervisor of Thornton Township. One of the issues we talked about was this charity, Tiffany Henry Cares Foundation. Here's what I first asked her about the foundation. You have a charity that from the Attorney General's office, as I understand they sent a cease and desist letter to your foundation.
I don't know nothing about that. I'm not crazy. I'm not
You have
deranged.
Tiffany Henry Cares, your foundation. So the Attorney General's office hasn't reached out to you regarding your foundation?
So I want to set the record straight. I don't have a foundation. I am a supporter of anybody that's struggling with cancer. My mom had breast cancer, and I'm always push anybody that has that. If someone uses my name to push their charity, or if you say this is Tiffany t-shirt, people gonna buy it. Because right now I'm considered what? Clickbait. People make money off of my name by views. So you just say my name.
You say you don't have a foundation.
I do not. And that's why I tell everybody, go do your research. I'm not on anything.
Okay. I followed that up a little bit later in the interview with this. So I asked you before we went to the break. I talked about again this charity and the Illinois Attorney General's office. This is from CBS affiliate there. Says that the accusation comes at the same time the Illinois Attorney General's office told Henry's charity multiple times in recent months to stop improperly soliciting donations because it had not registered with the state as required by law. And you said that's not your charity. Correct. Okay. So were you ever? So show the video here. 'Cause I'm trying to understand this here. So this is a video of you marching with the charity. So what is this?
So what they're not telling you is we literally walked to Springfield to create a bill to help anybody that suffered from cancer, whether it's the village of Dalton, Thornton Township, and then I increased it to the state of Illinois. And that bill will help people by giving them $10,000. And that's a bill that we actually are initiating, and we're still working on it. When I went through the Republican states, the Republican areas, we didn't have any issue. Everybody was on board because everybody is suffering from cancer or know someone that passed or is actually going through it. So that was the whole purpose of the walk, to basically bring awareness and bring people together. That's what the whole purpose of it is.
But if you had, so there were folks with signs saying Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation. Who was that?
What do you mean? It's everybody. Everybody was there.
No. What I'm saying is, what is the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation? You said it's not affiliated with you at all.
Correct.
Well, what is it?
So someone made up a foundation. They named it after me, and they like my work that I do in the community, and it's called Tiffany Henyard Cares. So we all went.
Now, but they weren't registered. Have you contacted them and told them you can't use my name improperly?
Well, my lawyer's handling a lot of that stuff, so all I can tell you is that I'm not the one on anything. That's the only thing I can tell you right now. So I'm just trying to answer to the.
So you're saying there's a foundation that's registered, but it has.
She's lying to his face, man.
Number one, she's lying to his face, and number two, the other thing is, in her latest town meeting, she refused to pay the lawyers.
Yes, that's another thing.
She didn't want to pay the lawyers. Like, okay, your lawyers are handling it, but you don't want to pay them.
That's just crazy.
Like, what? What kind of crack are you smoking, woman?
Everybody knows that she's lying, but Roland Martin. Oh my goodness. Yeah. She didn't want to pay the lawyers either. It's pathetic. Anyway.
It has nothing to do with you.
Correct. That's true.
Okay.
That's
so you're not aware of any of the work that they've done, money that they've raised, anything along those lines?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. So she said in the interview that the foundation was not hers. This is from a council meeting.
I'm doing, and I'm really, really big on, that's dear to my heart, is I'm real big on a cancer foundation. I have created Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation, and what that entails is helping everybody within the 17 municipalities with services, such as well services and resources, such as if you need help paying for chemo, radiation, your medicine, your wigs, your prosthetic, your breasts, things of that nature, even helping you with housing. Because I know firsthand how that feels to just not have help when my mom had breast cancer. So I want to make sure that I put that out there to the public and to everybody, that it goes to any 17 municipality. You cannot live in Chicago to benefit from this foundation. It's strictly for people that live in the 17 communities. We are doing a cancer walk October 4th, and how this room was filled. I will hope you guys will come out for that cause. We will start right at Food for Less parking lot. We will walk west, going across the Unity Bridge, and we will walk 15 miles. So anybody that's up for the challenge or that feel they can make it, please show up. You can walk, ride, or drive. And yes, we got bikes. We have motorcycle clubs. We have all kinds of people that is joining us in this movement because you never know when you need this resource as well. So always be about the cause. Last but not least, even though I know we got another meeting, the kids' Halloween dance party will be Sunday, October.
He's looking like he just found out some new information that nobody ever knew about.
Yeah,
this
right.
Video that he just played, it's like over 9 months old. Buddy, like, didn't you do your homework before you brought this woman to your show? But no, she's an independent Black woman. You know, we can't challenge them. They can't be corrupt. Because why? She's part of the Democratic Party. But you say you care about Black people. Here goes a woman who is hurting Black people, who's hurting them financially, who's persecuting people. She's part of your party, and she sat on your show and lied to your face, and now you want to come back with a video acting like you didn't know. You could not have known. And I'm thinking to myself, you see this type of man right here? These are the reasons why Black people ain't going nowhere. And I am not lying to you. Those supposed Black bourgeoisie who sits back and watch the world burn, and they have the power to address the ills of our society, to keep Black men accountable, to keep Black women who are corrupt politically accountable. They have the power to do that. They choose not to. But you know what they want to talk about? Conservatives, Black conservatives. I'm going to show you a video because this man right here, and I don't hate people, but I hate what some people do because they sit there and acting like we're stupid. Because you look at the influence that these politicians have in the culture. People like him has the ability to check them. But they won't do that. Why? because the pain, it's all about political ideology. It's all about the narrative. And this stuff right here makes me sick.
So now I'm confused. In that video, in a council meeting, and I'm about to play the intro again, Mayor Henyard says, I have created a foundation. Press play.
Doing and I'm really, really big on, as dear to my heart, is I'm real big on a cancer foundation. I have created Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation, and what that entails is helping everybody.
So she says, I have created the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation. We pull the article of incorporation. Pull it up. Now, when I asked her about this, she said, someone made up a foundation. Okay, someone. Here's the problem. The registered agent of the foundation is a Keith Freeman. Keith Freeman works for the city of Dalton.
That's nothing but old news, man. Like, it's not really saying anything that nobody knows about. This is nothing but old news. Let me share something with you. And he's acting like he just found out something amazing about this woman. Like, the rest of the world knew that. But here's the thing. Watch this. And this is what I'm talking about. This is part of my issue with this, with people like this. Look at
this woman, the same way that he's tough on. Been accused of all types of stuff, and the people that are getting hurt by this the most, a majority of the people that are getting hurt, happen to be black. So you would think that Mr. Pro-Black Roland Martin would be tough on this woman the same way that he's tough on black conservatives and black Trump supporters.
We could go start a black voter IDs matter and go help people go get their IDs. I mean, these are things we could do.
Yeah, but you keep going back to ID as if that's the only issue, and that's not the only issue.
That's not the only thing. I'm just saying, like, that's one of the issues.
No, that's one. That's one. I read for you about 10 of them. That's one. So that's one particular thing right there. And so, but what's interesting though is that, again, you're wrong, Congressman. You're wrong. I'm asking you a series of questions in terms of how you voted on particular bills that, and for the black community, in terms of where issues are. George Floyd Justice Act. How did you vote?
Wait, say that again. You broke.
George Floyd Justice Act. How did you vote?
Oh, I didn't vote for that bill. I voted against it. And the reason why I voted against that bill is because of qualified immunity. I think the qualified immunity provisions in that bill are actually going to be very harmful.
Consent. Oh my God. Are you just sitting here just making shit up?
You're asking me about Trump.
No, you're making stuff up.
Questions. And now you're throwing in Rand Paul and
I'm throwing in facts. I'm throwing
you're asking me questions and I'm answering them.
No, you're not answering. What you're doing is you're doing what Trump is doing. You're just making shit up.
So there's no dude,
the platinum plan was a plan. It was never enacted.
Exactly. I know.
And he also said,
I know that.
Trump said,
you know why it wasn't enacted?
You see how he treats people who are not part of his party? You see the difference is massively, is right in your face. Now watch, and I love how Black Conservative Perspective kind of like ended this, because he went on to share another video and he said this.
Benefit from this foundation is strictly for people that live in the 17 communities. We are doing a cancer walk October 4th.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Okay, all of this information was out there for months, and Roland Martin refused to press her in the interview with these clips that have been floating around showing that clearly and obviously she was lying. Okay, and there are major contradictions to the story, the lies that she was telling on his platform. And Roland Martin is so dumb, right? So stupid that he doesn't realize that had he actually did that, right? Had he actually confronted her with just those two clips that I showed you guys, that probably would have been the most viral interview on the internet since the Shannon Sharp, Cat Williams interview that I believe got almost what 20, 30 million views, right? If you look at all of the clips that have been posted of that interview, right? That interview, if Roland Martin had actually conducted that interview the same way he conducts the interviews with Black conservatives, if he actually had done his job as a so-called journalist, that would have been probably one of the most viral interviews ever. And Roland Martin would have went down as the journalist that put his political leanings aside and decided to take down a black woman Democrat who is screwing over mostly black people in her own town, right? I mean, I would have covered it. Conservatives would have covered it. Liberals would have covered it. I mean, the local news media covered it, right? They would have covered it, okay? Everybody would have covered it, and Roland Martin would have been praised because he had a rare opportunity that Tiffany Henyard doesn't give to anybody else to actually hold her accountable. And he literally chose not to do it, right? Now, this man is being absolutely roasted. He has been destroyed in the comment section of his own videos. The ratios are epic, okay? I mean, his audience is absolutely destroying him, okay? Because, again, he's exposed himself as the political hack that he is, right? And, again, he's so upset. He's so upset about it that he went and dropped another video actually doing the fact check that he should have did when she was in studio, and then begging Tiffany to come back and to answer questions that he should have asked her when she was in studio, while pretending like he knows what he's doing, because he clearly has no clue what he's doing. Because if he actually knew what he was doing, he would not have dropped the biggest bag of his career.
I love all the people out there who ain't never reported on nothing. No, man, you should have did it this way. First, you have to ask a series of questions to get answers. And now you come back with, okay, there are contradictions in the answer. I need Mayor Henyard and her team to come back and answer all of these questions.
Look at him being smart. He's trying to outsmart his audience now. Look at the disrespect of this fella.
No, you need to do your homework so that way you ask the right questions the first time.
Exactly. Stop embarrassing yourself. Like, guys, it's out of control.
You're acting the fool, man.
Anyway, I'm gonna let Black Conservative Perspective roast him because I don't want to have to say anything, because I hope Black people see stuff like this and choose wisely. Don't go for skin color. Go for substance. Go for character. Go for values. Because people like this are misleading a lot of Black folks. But I'm so glad, because his own audience is like, they're not buying it. They're not buying it. They're like, yo, you're out of your mind. Crazy. When you read the comments, it's almost like, oh my Lord. These people are not buying what this man is doing. And I'm so glad that we are not all duped and confused and misled.
Yeah, I think he just tanked his career.
Oh, he's done. He's done. He will never recover from this.
And I have some additional questions, and I'm sending them.
When in the history of journalism have you ever seen somebody do an interview with one of the most corrupt politicians ever? Okay, and don't fact check them at all throughout the whole interview. Don't try to press them at all throughout the whole interview. And then after the fact, come back and do a fact check video begging them to come back and sit down and answer my questions. You've never seen that. That's never been a thing. Like, that's actually not a thing, right? That's not a thing. And again, it's so funny that he believes that she's actually gonna come back. Yo, I am dying. Okay, because listen, guys, I know I've been beating this dead horse, but there's a reason why. Okay, because I'm gonna show you why I'm doing this video. Actually, this guy, he doesn't realize, he's so stupid that he does not realize that he has done the equivalent from a journalism perspective of winning the lottery and then losing the lottery ticket on the way to cash in, because that's exactly what happened. I mean, there are not many opportunities, right, as a so-called journalist, where you can sit down with probably one of the most corrupt mayors in American history, and you have an opportunity to basically show that, hey, I'm not a partisan hack. Okay, I'm not just working on behalf of the Democrat Party. I'm a real journalist with integrity, and I'm going to take this woman down with facts in her own words, contradicting the lies that I know that she's going to tell on my network, because I've done my research, right? I've done my research. I know what she's going to say. I know her excuses. I'm going to come with the facts that were out there, right? Easily available, readily available, right? It's all right there for you to see. I'm going to come with this stuff. And again, this guy has a whole research department, right? He's not a one-man operation, okay? He's not doing all the research himself.
Dude, we're
the research team.
Hold on.
The fact.
We're just a 2-man operation and we found all this stuff out. I mean, come on.
I know. Just a few news clip and then put away your biases. You can get to the facts. But no, he doesn't want to do that because it's about politics for him. It's about political leaning. It's not about the truth. That's all it is. And like you're right, we don't do all that research. We have a few things recommended to us, and we found a few videos, a couple articles, and that's it.
That's it. Simple as that.
We got to the truth.
We do a little homework. We do a little digging.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's it.
It's not that complicated. And he's like, well, you got to ask these series of questions, and you have to come back with contradictions. And I'm like, bro, it's not that serious. Have you listened to
a couple of Google searches and you find out everything you need to know?
Yeah. That's why the alternative platform is growing so big, because these guys are they're all political leaning. They are part of the swamp. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big joke. Yeah. He's roasting him. And watch what he went on to say, and then I'm going to bring this video to an end because look at this.
Right? He's not doing any of the research himself, so he didn't even have to do it. But he's so stupid, he didn't even direct his research team to actually really look deep into this story and to understand what she's likely to say coming into the interview so that you're prepared to push back against her, to have a full understanding of the story. He didn't even take the time to do that, right? So he could have been known as the guy, the journalist, to put his political partisanship aside and to take down one of his own because of clear and overt corruption, because he's for the people, right? He could have been the journalist that was known to do that, to take down one of the most corrupt mayors ever to her face, right? I mean, you could have got some crazy moments in that interview had he just confronted her the way that we know that he would have done if she was a conservative or Republican. But now he's known as the journalist, aka the political propagandist, the hack, okay, the scam artist, the con artist, that allowed the most corrupt mayor in American history, or one of the most corrupt mayors in American history, to come on his platform and to lie, right? To straight up lie on his platform. That is what he's known for now, right? That is what he's known for. And his follow-ups to all this is hilarious, right? It's hilarious because I want to talk about this, okay? Because I try to tell you guys, these people, their priorities are out of line, right? Instead of being concerned about, again, an actual corrupt mayor that is hurting black people, what he's more concerned about are black conservatives. For example, on Twitter, this guy got so triggered by this picture posted by Congressman Wesley Hunt, right? He posted a picture that said, the Democrats' worst nightmare in one room, right? Stay tuned. Okay, so it's just a picture of black conservatives, okay? Roland Martin literally spends all day long. I mean, all night, all night. I'm talking about up at 3 a.m. in the morning, guys, right? 3 a.m. in the morning, okay? 3 a.m., 2 a.m. in the morning, literally just posting about these black conservatives, right? Okay, just trying to roast them, right? All night long. He says the 5 bottoms, right? The 5 bottoms. The guy with this in his profile picture, right? This is profile picture. Trying to call another black man a bottom, right? Again, amazing stuff. Hilarious, right? Absolutely hilarious. But if you look at this man's X account, right? Again, all night long, he's putting so much time and effort into trying to roast black conservatives all night. Literally all night long. Like, I'm not exaggerating. Okay. This is what really got me. Okay. This is what really got me. It blew my mind. Because had he put this much effort into researching Tiffany Henyard, right, and holding her accountable, doing his interview with her, he would be a hero, right? He would be getting praise and glory right now, okay? I'm so serious. From both sides of the political aisle, everybody will be praising this man right now for taking down one of the most corrupt mayors in the history of this country. But again, this is what he's focused on. This is what his mind is on. 5 black men, right, that he disagrees with politically. Not the most corrupt mayor in this country. You scrolling for days because this man literally stayed up all night, right, He said it all night. And this is what really got me. This is what really got me, okay? This is what really got me, okay? This man had the unmitigated gall to put this X tweet out here. He says, all of these folks are scared to come talk to Black people. I challenge all of them to come talk to Black-owned media. Wow. 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 Right? Wow. This guy lacks so much self-awareness. I like, honestly, I'm starting to feel bad for him, right? I think he might have some real issues, okay? I think he might have some real issues for real, okay? Upstairs, I don't think the elevator goes all the way to the top floor, because this amount of lack of self-awareness is just, it's astonishing. It really is. It's so funny, because where was his energy with Tiffany Henyard? Again, you see how he brings all this energy. He's now basically inviting Black conservatives to come on his platform so he can do what? So he can treat them the way that he should have treated Tiffany Henyard, right? That's what he wants to do. He's literally trying to invite Black conservatives onto his platform so that he can try to bully them, talk over them, to give them tough questions, right? To hold them accountable in a way that he failed to do with one of the most corrupt mayors in this country, literally because she's a Democrat Black woman. Guys, I want you to look at his Instagram. This is astonishing, right? The lack of self-awareness is incredible, right? So one day ago, this guy posts a picture of him with her on his Instagram, right?
No wonder why he could not say anything negative about her. That looks like a very friendly preacher. Like, I mean, the picture tells you everything. 1,000 words indeed. You can't be tough on a woman like this when you're taking pictures with her like that. Like, how could you? How could you? You've already told us everything we need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the picture. Lord have mercy. I'm going to take a few more minutes of this. Maybe about 3 more minutes, and we are going to move on.
I mean, he took a picture smiling with one of the most corrupt mayors in this country. She's actively hurting Black people. And he took a picture of her smiling as if that's her, that's his buddy. Again, this is crazy. But then also look at this. Look at this. Look at this. His Instagram, he got 3 straight posts about Tim Scott being a liar. Right? He's so concerned about lies, right? But
and so
this
is the thing. This is the thing, Matt. This is the thing, Matt, that again, why he must be fact checked. But see, Tim Scott knows he can stand in front of a group of bunch of white people, Republicans, and they're going to clap at that nonsense. Nobody on Fox News is going to fact check him. He won't come on Black-owned media because he knows it's easier to lie to white conservatives than it is to push a lie to Black people, knowing full well we're going to fact check your behind.
Wow. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. Oh my God. You cannot make this up. You cannot make this up. Listen to this guy. Listen to this. He literally, it's the Tim Scott. Come to Black-owned media. Come to.
I'm forget about him. I gave up on him a while ago. I like what Evo Velzenda's comment is there.
Where? At the top? Okay.
The second one down. Democrats lie to Black people every day. Been doing it since the Civil War. # fact checked.
I'm so glad. Thank you for that one. So you get the point of this video, and I know I made it a little bit longer than it needed to be. It's because I'm trying to show there is really a serious disconnect from many of the in the media.
So
I've been lying.
The verse I want to put with that is Proverbs 3:21-24.
Okay. So let's look at that. Proverbs 3:21-24. Okay, go ahead.
My son, let not them depart from thine eyes. Keep sound wisdom and discretion. So shall they be life unto thy soul and grace to thy neck. Then shalt thou walk in thy way safely, and thy foot shall not stumble. When thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid, Yea, though thou shalt lie down, and thy sleep shall be sweet.
Amen. Mm-hmm.
If you look at things, and then to me, this says if you look at things with wisdom and through a discerning eye,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and basically look at things for how they are, not how other people want you to see them, and actually look at the core and get to the meat of the problem,
Yes.
then you're going to see the truth of the matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you make decisions based on that, then you're going to live a more fulfilled life.
Amen. 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 Thank you for that. That was powerful. You know, one of the verses I was thinking about was in 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 2. 2:22, easy to remember. It says, they shall, listen to this, many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the truth shall be evil spoken of. But here is the next thing. Through covetousness shall they with vain words make merchandise of you. I thought about that because it's speaking from the context of false prophets, right? But you can see many people, you may not be a prophet, you may not be speaking on the behalf of God. That doesn't mean politicians can behave in a similar way, because you have an audience, you speaking to someone, you have people who follows you. And I think part of the issue here that Roland Martin is dealing with is this right here, covetousness. Some of these people, most of what's driving a lot of people in the media to be so biased in their reporting, and like you said from the verse earlier, we have to discern it because it's the biasness is so bad, is because they are covetous. They want the praise of the people instead of the honor of God. They want to be seen as sound and well thought of and intelligent and so on. And in so doing, they stop being real. They stop being honest. They like sacrifice character for popularity in a sense. And you could tell that through covetousness, the Bible says they will come with vain words, like they come up with things that are not even true. But the whole thing is they're making merchandise of you. They want to use you. They want to use you in a way just to make money, just to grow their pockets. It's not because they care about the truth. And it's good to know that. The Bible says their judgment does not linger and their damnation slumbereth not. In other words, people who lie to you all the time, who's trying to merchandise and sell you things that are not based on truth, God says they will be judged. And I really hope this happens soon for them so that they could repent, so that they don't experience what we Christian refers to as the burning end. I wanted to move on to talk about this video, because since we're still talking about Black conservative perspective and so on, we're talking about Black. Did you hear what this guy say? Have you heard the word of this man?
Charles Barkley?
Oh, goodies. I mean, I want you to hear what he said. And I'm like, is he out of his mind or what?
Pretty much.
And you know who embraced it than anybody else? The Black population. It's incredible. You see Black people walking around with my mugshot. You know, they do shirts.
When you heard that, what did you think? Big sigh.
First of all, I'm just going to say this. If I see a Black person walking around with Trump mugshot, I'm going to punch him in the face.
Charles.
I don't, Gil.
These people, man. What does that even mean?
It's Trump derangement syndrome, man.
So if a person is Black and they think Donald Trump is a great pick, you feel like punching them in the face. I would like to ask the question, and I got a video coming up where I'm going to get your thought on this. What has Trump ever done to Black people that makes you hate him so much?
Yeah.
Tell me one policy from Trump's administration that caused you to hate him so much. Now, turn the card over. How many policies from the Biden administration that are hurting Black people currently? Well, you ain't punching nobody in the face, are you?
Mm-mm.
Sanctuary CDs. You think that's good for Black people?
Mm-mm.
Who's suffering the most? You see, these people are so disconnected. I'm just talking about those Black bourgeoisie who lacks common sense. They're the reasons why Black people ain't going nowhere. Like you gotta look at a man like this in that position with how much money that they have. You would think they would be able to speak with some decency and common sense. With you live in a country where Trump's presidency even made you more money. You play basketball in a country where majority of Trump's fan base today, they were the ones supporting you. White people win in basketball games. Black people don't go to basketball games like that. Like we might be 5% of the audience. So when people are talking like this, I'm always like, do you understand how the world works? Or are you living in a bubble?
They definitely live in a glass castle.
It's just crazy. It's crazy to me.
I know, Gail.
Charles,
Gail.
You really can't say that because you don't mean it.
If I see a black person walking around with Trump mugshot, I'm gonna punch him in the face.
Charles.
I know, Gail.
Charles.
Gail.
You really can't say that because you don't mean that.
I mean that sincerely. I'm gonna just tell you something.
And then you will be arrested for assault. And then what?
She's pathetic too. Let me explain to you why. If you want to understand a person's perspective, why you keep bringing people on your channel and ask them about Trump when you already know they hate Trump? To me, it's like bring a black conservative on your channel. Bring a Candace, right? Bring an Officer Tatum. Why don't you bring people who know what they're talking about? You're gonna pick some ex-basketball player that nobody even watched today, who's a commentator on ESPN and so on, that very few people even care about. You want to bring that individual into a political discussion? He's like, come on, man. Can you just be fair? Like, if you're going to talk about politics, bring someone who understands politics, who's been in the realm, who's been talking that talk. And if you want to influence black people, just bring a black person who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh no, you're gonna get locked up. And no, this is all part of the game. It's all part of the game. And it's pathetic.
Assault. And then what?
I'm gonna bail myself out and go celebrate. If I
don't encourage him. Don't encourage him. Okay, but go ahead.
Seriously.
Continue.
First of all, if I was at
that conference,
I'd have got up and walked out. That was an insult to all black people. Because he basically just saying, and first of all, to compare black history where we've been discriminated against to his plight.
Yes.
Well, first of all, he's a billionaire. And they're prosecuting him for stuff he did wrong. They're prosecuting him for stuff he did wrong.
You see the disconnect, right? I mean, I want you supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Like this guy's out of his mind. Like Trump did wrong.
Somebody hasn't done his homework.
Like for things he did wrong. No, these are allegations. We have yet to have a court hearing on some of these issues. Like he's out of his mind, disconnected from reality. And again, for you to say he did wrong according to which law? Which law has been broken?
Yeah, and even the New York case that I was talking about earlier, they used a law that you got to have a plaintiff who can show damages.
Yeah.
Nobody was hurt in the deal.
There is no damage. Even the banks were happy.
Yeah.
We'll do it again.
So where is there any damages that have been done? And how do they get off prosecuting him if there's one, no plaintiff, and two, no damages were done, and three, the bank said, we love this guy and we'd loan to him again if we had the opportunity.
Hey, but remember, I am the government and I'm here to help. I'm from the government and I'm here to help. I'm trying to help you from Trump's. Really?
Because it wasn't a setup.
It's just crazy to me. Crazy. Anyway.
Like really?
And for him to
It's still in the court system, Charles. We have to wait. It's still in the court system. But continue.
Well,
continue.
Some of the stuff is true. They did storm the Capitol. They did say that the election was stolen. Those aren't lies, Gail. Those are
They
facts.
did say that. They did say that.
But to compare, I would have got up and walked out because
Democrats have said the same thing for years. They were never
Number one, he was still president at the time, so he has immunity there. Number two, sorry. Number two, he said respectfully and peacefully protest.
That's right. Yes. He never
He
intended.
never wanted anybody to storm the Capitol.
Nope. Nope.
Now, there were bad actors, I believe, mixed into the crowd, as well as them tear gassing and
Made matters worse.
macing the crowd to incite a riot.
Made people mad.
So I'm just saying.
My guy here is completely disconnected from reality. He is so deranged.
He hasn't done any research on any of the facts.
And there's been so many updates for him to still have this perspective. It goes to show he's really disconnected from reality. Like, people have updated. This stuff has changed a long time ago. And again, poor soul.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your brain on CNN.
Exactly.
It's not a fair comparison. You know, he's a billionaire. He's had a great life. He's been president of the United States. To insult black people who have been discriminated against all these years, to put them in the same category, I was just offended. I mean,
What? Wait, what? When did he insult black people?
It was not an insult. This guy is so disconnected from reality. Let me see.
You know who insulted black people?
Uh-huh.
Joe Biden.
Yeah, if you don't vote for me,
If you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
That's an insult.
Obama was the most well-dressed and well-spoken black person he'd ever met.
Did nothing for blacks, though.
Let's see. Poor kids are just as smart and just as talented as black kids.
Yeah, nobody got mad over that. Nobody got mad. Have you seen this? Okay, we're talking about the Trump shoes is offensive, right? You're talking about Trump t-shirt is offensive. This is Fat Joe.
Show them the box first, what it says. It's friends and family. There's only 50 of these.
I got to get my hands on them. Once again,
Show them the number on the top.
I'm not a Trumper. I dislike Trump. I'm not voting for him. Not now, not never. But I'm a sneaker collector into the art. So I had to find these.
I don't like when these guys come up and they can't even speak their minds without putting out this disclaimer. It's like, who cares, bro? What matters here is say what you need to say. It's almost like, let me put out this disclaimer. I'm not a Trumper. Like, who cares? Like, if your politics is your politics, it's your politics. If you don't like it, you don't like it. You don't vote for Trump, who cares? But again, they have to say this just to be in the good graces of the audience, I guess, before they can speak their minds. To me, it's like, okay, it shows you have no backbone from the very start. Fine. If you want to collect Trump shoes, I'm okay with that. If you want to vote for Trump, fine. You don't want to vote for Trump, I don't care. Make your point. But you have to say this so that nobody roasts you later on, because you know how the Dems will come and roast you. But I guess that's just one of the things. I just find out a lot of people do that. It's like, well, I'm not a Trump. I don't care about Trump. I just care about this. It's like, it is what it is. Whatever. Just get to the point.
Now the mayor's gonna call me. Everybody's gonna call me and say, you wilding out, Joe. Why you got the Trump? Look, mayor's the first one. Joe, I'm a sneaker collector. I don't know what none of these guys did. I collect sneakers. The rarer, the better. No, I didn't pay for these sneakers. Sorry. I didn't pay for these sneakers. They knew I had to have them because I'm the biggest in the game. So what I do is collect.
Freaking grifters. That's all he is. He's just a grifter.
A grifter. Nothing of value. Anyway, let me
Good
move
afternoon,
on.
Erica.
Let me put on. Sorry, I got my wife on the phone. But let me put on the next video, and then yeah, there he goes. I think you brought that one. They are melting down. You sent me this one. So all right, let's take this. Why are they melting down is the question, right? Anyway, let's take a listen.
Oh, the meltdown is epic. Democrats in the media over the U.S. Supreme Court's unanimous and historic ruling that states cannot just kick former President Donald Trump off the ballot. Some even suggesting that the court should be dissolved. Watch.
This is actually what I had been concerned about when I first heard about this case in Colorado. I had been concerned that should it go to the Supreme Court, they would rule this way.
I'd laugh if it weren't so sad.
Our colleague Melissa Murray has called this Supreme Court the YOLO court.
Not since Bush v. Gore have we seen a court that's had this many opportunities to interfere in the election.
I am not inspired and I'm not confident that that will produce a result that's good for American democracy.
The court went way further than it needed to go.
It's 5-4. This is a 5-4 ruling on part of it.
This is actually a 5-4 decision.
I think what we saw was a court where justices that behaved in a partisan manner. And
you can see the communist spirit oozing from the screen.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you can't respect the court decision. It's like, I think that the court is probably the only thing left that has yet to be corrupted by the dams. And I thank God for that. Because were it not for the court, I mean, I can only imagine what these people will do.
Well, you know why they're saying it was a 5-4 decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's for our semi-dissenting opinions,
Mm-hmm.
they're not completely on board with what the other 5 said.
Mm-hmm.
The 5 of them said that no, only Congress has the authority to officially remove somebody from the ballot, period.
Got it.
However, the other 4 said that that shouldn't be the case.
Mm. Got it.
And the other 5 were like, it's only, they broke it down to, well, no, the only time that a state is allowed to remove somebody from the ballot is in the case of local and, statewide, blah, 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 blah. And they outlined exactly what the states are allowed to do. The other 4 said, well, we don't think you should have gone that far. We think you should have just left it at only Congress can remove somebody from a ballot for a presidential race.
Mm.
That's why they're saying it's a technical 5-4 decision.
In a sense, yeah.
Not a 9-0 decision. But technically. Technically, it was a 9-0 decision. Everybody was on board with it.
Of course.
That Colorado could not remove him from the ballot.
Yeah, but could you imagine if states are allowed to do something like this? How easy it is to manipulate a state and then just use that to weaponize against any political individual? Like, it's actually a very bad thing.
It would set a very dangerous precedent.
Oh my goodness, it would be deadly. Like, what if the Republicans start using this? Because the pendulum always swings on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually they'll be like, oh no, okay, I remember what you guys did to Trump in 2024. Okay, 2028, we got you. They can actually do the same thing. And they have to think about stuff like this. It's not just what you're doing to somebody else, but remember what you're doing could be done to you the next day. And I think that's what they oftentimes don't think about, and it's kind of really crazy. But anyway, let's see how this goes.
that disappoints.
Amy, the criticism of the court is that they're playing interference.
The Supreme Court handed Trump a second gift in as many weeks on a constitutional technicality.
The conservative majority Supreme Court that seems to be playing the game as if they are on Team MAGA.
And he doesn't just get the presidency thanks to the court trying to help him get it.
Can you imagine today if your name is Sotomayor? Or, I don't know, Ketanji Brown Jackson? Can you imagine having all of those extreme Democrats say that you're not real? We've been there before, haven't we? You're not real. Whatever your perception is, it didn't happen that way. You should have voted the way that you were expected to vote, not 9-0, not with Republicans. You want to divide a country? They're professional at it. Despite the court's ruling, Democrats now, some of them, are still determined to keep Trump off now a federal ballot. Here's Congressman Jamie Raskin.
The Supreme Court punted and said it's up to Congress to act. And so I am working with a number of my colleagues, including Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Eric Swalwell, to revive legislation that we had to set up a process by which we could determine that someone who committed insurrection is disqualified by Section 3 of the 14th Amendment.
Lisa, Eric Swalwell is going to work on keeping Trump off the ballot?
Well, so, okay, I've been saying this a lot lately. I don't think that Democrats even believe this threat to democracy narrative. They're just laying the groundwork so that the ends justify the means.
So hold on. You know who Eric Swalwell is, right? You're muted.
Yeah, yes, I do.
Yeah. So in case of those who don't know or aren't in the know, Eric Swalwell's the one who slept with a Chinese spy.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah. He legitimately slept with a Chinese spy and got caught.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, that goes on record to be remembered.
So just saying, maybe not the greatest person to team up with.
Not exactly. Not exactly. Yeah. Good point. I didn't know. Oh, food for thought.
He is so bad so that anything is justifiable to try to take him down and stop him from becoming president, even trying to remove him from the ballot, taking all these extreme measures. And it's very clear that Democrats want to be the ones that decide the outcome of this election, not voters. I mean, even since the Supreme Court decision, you had the Colorado Secretary of State lament that, it's up to the voters to save the country. You've had Obama's former chief advisor, David Axelrod, said something similar. I mean, that's how elections work. It should be in the hands of voters, but they clearly want to deny Americans that right. And it just shows how power hungry they are, how power driven they are, that they're willing to do anything to try to stop Trump and keep power in this country.
So, Kayleigh, I thought about this yesterday, as we were learning all that was happening with Donald Trump and the U.S. Supreme Court and all of that. I said, how motivated are those people going to be who thought that their votes wouldn't count in Colorado? Do you think they're maybe a little bit more anxious to vote today? Eager to get out there no matter what and vote for Trump? And what about Maine and Illinois? Hoping that their votes will count and that this 9-0 decision in the U.S. Supreme Court means that other people will be protected around the country. We don't know yet, but it looks like that's the case. Think about the enthusiasm for Trump now.
You are absolutely right. I mean, Democrats, they tend to be pretty shrewd political actors that operate in a bloc cohesively and act together. But in this case, they're shooting themselves in the foot repeatedly. Let's take away the votes of 3 states. Okay, that didn't work. Now let's have Congress try to decide the election in the event that Donald Trump prevails. It's nonsense, and it fires up the base. And for all the talk about institutions, democracy, the Constitution, the Supreme Court, these institutions that Democrats say they revere, until those institutions go against their desired political outcome. This was a case of American institutions working to the point you made. Obama appointed Elena Kagan. He appointed Sotomayor. And then, of course, Biden appointed Ketanji Brown Jackson. And they came together with Republican-appointed justices. But I love that now they're the MAGA justices. Those justices are now the MAGA justices.
So why are we shocked? Because this is a president who said that if you don't vote for him, you're not in your race lane. You're not in your cultural lane. You're not in your ethnic lane. You don't think he has friends?
I loved what you said in the beginning, because to me, that is what this illustrates. That to your point about the cohesive voting bloc, that works to keep a D next to the name in the elected official's position. But at the end of the day, if you don't vote in lockstep, you're not Black enough. You're not liberal enough. You're not blank enough for them. And that's the tragedy. And we're seeing this play out. We are seeing them attack in minutia the justices that ruled unanimously. The whole point is we talked about in expectation of this ruling that unanimous front would sort of show that it actually wasn't partisan, not that we needed that show, that it rose above these petty politics we're subjected to every day. Jenna Griswold, the Colorado, for her to
Secretary of State.
That's right, for her to say that now it's in the voters' hands to save democracy, when she was the one that ripped power from those voters' hands.
Exactly.
From a Democratic Party who talks about Trump as the threat to democracy. To your point about that phrase, that means nothing, because it is them that insist on keeping that power and wresting it away from the hands of the Americans. I grew up in California, I lived in Washington, and I was told all the time, your vote doesn't matter, your vote doesn't matter, because I wasn't a Democrat. That is a horrible feeling. I wish that on no one, and I wish for everyone today to feel extra empowered to go out there, because you know what? Now again, your vote does matter.
Yeah, it's like my precious in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I mean, that Attorney General thought that the power was hers, and don't take it out of my precious.
Just a couple things on this. If you look at the Jamie Raskin clip, there's a timestamp on it. It's 12:06 Eastern time. That Supreme Court ruling was barely out 2 hours.
Yeah.
And he was talking about legislation he proposed with Debbie Wasserman Schultz 2 years prior. You know, all this stuff about, I think you could probably save the tape, play it again at the end of June, July 1st, when the Supreme Court comes out and issues its decision on immunity. Now, Andy McCarthy says this is tough for Trump. Jonathan Turley says it's tough for Trump.
Yes.
So how are all these people going to be feeling then? Because I think what we saw yesterday was TDS, is Trump derangement system.
Yeah.
And I just have one more thing here, is that, you know, during our primary coverage tonight, if Joe Biden, as president of the United States, decided he wanted to come out and take a speech, we would take his speech. We would have listened to what he has to say. But on primary night after primary night, our competition sometimes refuses to take the winner. South Carolina was a big deal. It was a big vote. It told us a lot about where the Republican Party is going in this candidacy. One of our competitors took 4 minutes, another took 10. That's what you're going to do. Take news out of your name.
Yeah.
Because we should all be listening to these ideas and thoughts. And if Biden came out, we would take him and be fair to his message.
Yeah, we do it all the time.
We just
we do it. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes we have to put words on the screen because helicopters are too loud for him, or he's having a.
Very, 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 very good. I could listen to these ladies all day long. They're so good.
Much better than The View.
The View gives me a headache, man. I can't. Please don't do this again. Just you mentioning The View, you just kind of messed up my word a little bit.
Sorry. But I mean, this just shows you how much they really don't want Trump in office, and how the lengths they're willing to go to.
Oh, extreme.
And the thing is, they don't understand is, it may pass the Senate, but it'll never get past the House.
No, praise the Lord for that. Yeah, thank you. And I'm so glad the Supreme Court is making a bold stand for democracy. Like they like to argue, right? Democracy, the voice of the people. But you want to strip the power from the people to have a voice. That is crazy to me. I mean, it goes to show, like, these people don't care, man.
No,
what they care
don't.
about is money and power and control. That's it. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad they didn't get what they want. So glad.
They don't want you to have the choice. They don't want you to have that decision. They want to make the decisions for you.
Absolutely. That's really what's going on here. That's really what's going on here. Man, I want to share this video. This is a short one. It's only 3 minutes.
So, Donald.
These are stories you don't hear about. And I think most stories like this should be heard and discussed. So there we go. Let's put that up. Yeah. All right, let's take a listen to this video. Powerful, powerful.
So, Donald Trump is so racist that as president, he did this for this young man. Just watch and listen.
Hello, President Trump. I would like to ask you to please release my dad from prison. I know that he made a huge mistake, and he really looks back on his mistake and regrets it, and I feel like he'll never do it again. My dad's been in my life ever since I was young. We have a great relationship. He's been helping me every step of the way. He helps me and my friends. He taught me right from wrong. He does a lot for me that some parents don't even do, and he's incarcerated. So I would just please want you to release my father from prison. Thank you.
This moment was 16 years in the making. Charles Duke Tanner embracing his 18-year-old son.
Boy, man.
Tanner, who is 38, grew up in Gary, Indiana. He was an undefeated light heavyweight boxer and hoped to go pro. He had never been arrested until he was accused of leading a local gang that sold drugs. He was convicted in 2006 of conspiracy to distribute. Tanner received 2 life sentences that was eventually reduced to 1.
First and foremost, I want to give all the praise and glory to God. Thank you for hearing me. But President Trump, I just want to thank you for giving me a second chance and believing in me and reading my petition. I'm just so thankful. It's just 20 years ago, I fought at the Trump Casino, and now you shine to give me clemency. First, I didn't know it was real until I was able to touch this little guy right here. I left him when he was 2 years old, President Trump. You reunited me back to my family. I lost my mother and my father, but I got him, and this is what I live for. Thank you, President Trump. Thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, all praise and glory go to God. Thank you.
My name is Charles Duke Tanner, and I was sentenced to a double life sentence for my first arrest for a nonviolent drug offense in 2004. I lost all my appeals, and I was denied clemency by the Obama administration. It took 16 plus years before President Trump granted my clemency and allowed me to go home in 2020. I was a part of a broken and unjust system. And now it hurts me to the core to see the same system going after a former president. This is what Blacks been going through since day one. If we allow this to happen to the former president, we can only imagine what's going to happen to the rest of the country. Please stand up now if you have a voice, and let's fight against this. God bless you all. Thank you.
Okay, let me get this straight. He was denied clemency by this one. This one granted him clemency, but he is racist and he is bad for minority and for this country. It's 2024, and with all due respect, if you still believe that Donald Trump is bad for this country, you've been brainwashed and you need to wake up. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. What a beautiful story. God bless you. Catch you on the next one. Trump 2024.
Right? I mean,
yeah, let's talk about that.
Not to mention there's pictures of him getting awards from Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson for humanitarian aid even before he became president.
Of course, they don't talk about that.
For his contributions to the Black community.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if I can pull any evidence of Obama or Biden having done something like this.
You're not going to, because it doesn't exist.
I can't find it. But hey, they love the minorities, right? They love Black people. Well, we love people. But anyway.
But if you don't vote for him, you ain't Black.
You ain't Black either. I love a beautiful redemption story. That's why I'm sharing this, is because it goes to show that the same way Trump was able to do what he did here with this man, I believe people deserve second chances. I believe that. We don't all, sometimes we make mistakes in life. We can look back and say, you know what, man, I really messed up. We confess. We turn from our bad decisions and choose to do something better with our lives. We should be given a second chance. I'm all for that. And I think the other danger is the extreme side of just allowing every criminals and everyone running our streets, and which is what the Democrats are doing. They're not giving clemency to the right people. They're giving clemency to the wrong people who shows no remorse whatsoever. But thank you for that, because that encourages me, and I can see a parallel with the gospel too. It's like the gospel is this beautiful story of redemption. Like for example, there's a text I want to share here. Galatians chapter 5. This is a good one. Here's this. And I love this because I like to highlight this. Stand fast in the liberty wherewith Christ has made us free. Oh, look at that. The gospel provides liberty and freedom, as we find at the heart of the Constitution of this country. Just in case you ever wondered why some people believe the United States is a Christian nation, is because it has principles and values that aligns with the gospel. So it might not be a nation that is ruled and governed by every Christian values, of course, because we are a melting pot. But the Constitution in itself, at its very foundation, even though there might not be a single verse to point to, but if you compare what's in the Constitution to Christian doctrines, you're going to find these principles outlined in the Bible. This is why people believe, and I myself also believe, this country at its foundation is a Christian nation. Stand fast, therefore, in a liberty wherewith Christ has made us free. So in Jesus Christ, there's liberty and freedom. And be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. I love this. Because once Jesus makes us free, he gives us a new name, a new character, a second chance, a redemption story. He also tells us, don't go back and do what you were doing. I believe that, man. I believe when Jesus forgives us and cleanses us, we ought to repent and choose to live a better life. That man made a mistake, man. He made some mistake when he was young, bad decisions and so on. And guess what? We all have. I think the only difference is he got caught. We didn't. So that's the only difference. Maybe we didn't do the same degree of crimes. Okay, let me be fair. But in the eyes of God, we are all guilty. But God is telling us today, there's freedom in Jesus Christ, and we can stand in that. Very powerful. I'm gonna skip this one. I'm gonna make a separate video to that one. But I wanted you. I know you gave me a Stephen Crowder. We won't be able to get to that one. But we pretty much addressed it.
That one's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. I won't be able to get through that today. But we should come back though. We should come back. Let me highlight that. All right. So can we get through this one? It's only 4 minutes long, and I just want to get your. I want you to. I just put a video out about this, but I wanted to put this out mainly to get your perspective as well, because yeah, I wanted to put this. I want to put this one on your channel primarily because I do have one video about it myself. But listen to what the argument that he's making here.
Send me a note.
Do you know who this guy is, right? This is Pastor Bishop Wooden, the same one who went after Beyonce and for her music and everything. Anyway, he's been popular as one of those guys who speaks his mind. He doesn't care. He speaks his mind about things, and he's not so much into politics. He's more like a common sense type of guy. He's more concerned about the truth. And I want you to hear the argument that he's making here in favor of Trump.
Send me a letter. Email it to me. Do it any way you want to. I'll keep it private, however you want to. But I invite you to send me one law that President Trump passed in 4 years that was against the Bible. It is said that those of us who are ignorant of history, or if we ignore history, we will repeat history. But it seems like to me America is ignorant because we're ignoring the Bible. I'm amazed. Y'all not gonna like this. I'm amazed at the number of sanctified women. And I'm going to show you in the Bible the number of sanctified women whose now new model is Kamala Harris. And the number of sanctified women who are getting the chucks and the pearls. Nothing wrong with chucks. Nothing wrong with pearls. But when a woman who endorse and perform California's first same-sex marriage can be a model to a sanctified woman. I don't believe you're sanctified. It used to be a model to the sanctified, you had to be sanctified. And I don't know what African Americans are excited about, given what she did to us when she had the power to do it. Amen. History doesn't change. Now what we can do is we can pretend not to remember and pretend not to know and pretend it's a new day. But I noticed this, with the memory problems and the forgiveness and the move on only applies one way. A Democrat can kill us all and say, I'm sorry, and we'll go along with it. A Republican can save us all, and we still stay mad. There's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that. So I'm looking at this, and it's amazing how we're dropping the biblical examples, and we're chasing after things. And God is saying, I've raised up preachers, and I've given you my word to warn you. Reason people ask me, why you seem to be political. I'm not into politics. I don't even like politics. Politics are in the church. See, the devil stepped on our territory. I just refuse to give it to him. That's, if you want to understand me, I wouldn't be a good politician. I wouldn't waste my time running for office. It would be a waste of time. Ain't no way in this world I would sacrifice time that I spend with God to hold a public office. That's for someone else. And thank God for those who do, but that's not my calling. But when you pass laws that affect the kingdom, that affects the nation, that are an affront to God, then every God-filled person has to say something. I want to ask you a question, and you can do it anonymously. Send me a note, send me a letter, email it to me. Do it do it any way you want to. I'll keep it private, however you want to. But I invite you to send me one law that President Trump passed in 4 years that was against the Bible.
That's the question. That's the question right there. It's $1 million question right here. Give me one law, one policy from the Trump administration that was against the Bible. Come on, Darth Vader. Come on now. Come up with something. You need to come up with something.
None that I can think of.
Come on now. One. Just one.
Nah, I can't think of any. He made peace with his enemies. He gave to the charity to those less fortunate. I mean,
He repealed the Johnson Amendment, which kind of held back the power of the church.
Yeah.
Having a voice in politics, which some people can argue that's not a good thing either, but no. I think the church will have a voice.
I think as close as he would come would be he crossed over the line of interfering with church business when it came to COVID.
Well, I think during that time, everything was haywired. Everything was backward. Because for me, it's like I don't condemn him for this because we didn't even know what we were dealing with.
And I don't either. But
fear mongering from the media didn't help either.
That's the thing is I don't either. And I also think he was also getting really bad advice from his advisors.
Yes, absolutely. There was a lot in his head. I think if you could look at the situation now, you would have done things completely different.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, he would have done things totally different.
So I extend
but
grace.
shutting down the churches, I think that is overstepping the bounds of separating church and state.
I think this is the scary thing about a crisis, right? Never let a good crisis go to waste. Whenever there's a crisis, you can get people to do, even good people will end up doing bad things during a crisis because of the fear of the unknown. It's a very scary thing. That's why whenever there's a crisis, you need to really calm yourself down, say less, think more, and reason, because you don't want to jump and just jump with whatever it is, whatever camp is pulling you in one direction or the other. It's not good to do that. It's really like what you need to be doing is sitting, like you were saying earlier. Discerning is significant during a crisis right now, and being patient because you don't know what you're doing. And I think they were criticizing him for not moving fast enough. And I think moving slow was probably the better thing to do.
And even so, I think he moved too fast.
Yeah. And it's because you still didn't know what was going on. It's best you're like skeptical and everything. But anyway, so the question is still on the table, though.
That was against the Bible. President Trump passed in 4 years that was against the Bible and God and our Christian teaching. Now, I publicly asked you I didn't ask for 10. I asked for 1. Well, I couldn't stand the way he talked. He didn't pass that into law. I didn't like his attitude. He didn't pass that into law. I want to know law.
That is $1 million question right there. And that's where I would like to end this video. Like, Give me one, man. Just one.
Honestly, I can't think of one law that he passed
That was against the Bible.
against the Bible.
So let's talk about Biden. Can you think of a few laws that he passed that was against the Bible? There's a whole bunch.
I don't even know where to begin. How about protecting your own?
Yeah.
Keeping, he's responsible for an entire nation, keeping your own nation safe.
True.
Open it. So with the wide open border the way we have it right now, that's not keeping us safe.
Nope. You're not loving your neighbors. You're not loving your neighbors as yourself.
Not loving your neighbor as yourself. Funding Ukraine's war by proxy. I mean,
sure.
There's
But even the level of support that Biden shows to the transgender community, he never showed that toward the Christian community. Even when the covenant school thing took place, Corinne Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary, she could not even acknowledge what was going on in the school and the pain of these families. She was more concerned about the transgender community. She was more like fighting for the trans people.
And the shooter.
Yeah, the shooter. She didn't say, for the family who lost their loved ones, and this, none of that was said. So there was very little concern about Christians. It still is not any concern. I can't remember a single time Biden used Jesus' name anywhere in his discussion. I haven't seen a single prayer made to Jesus in the Biden administration. I haven't smelled it. I'm not saying you should be mangling church and state. I think people need to be very careful, and I've done some studies in this. The Bible is very clear that the church should not control the state and the church should not control the church. This doesn't mean they should not influence each other. There's another thing to also to keep in mind. When you look at the 10 Commandments, there's a reason why God has the 10 Commandments on two different tables. Okay? When you study Jewish laws, the reason God had the first 4 commandments on one table and the last 6 on a different table is because he's putting a difference between civil laws and religious laws. So religious laws, the first 4 commandments, no government should ever influence or install or legislate any of that. Okay? That's what the separation of church and state actually mean. No government should have, you should have this God to worship, or you should have this image to bow to, or you should take this name, or you should keep this day holy. No government should touch any of the first 4 commandments. However, the last 6 commandments, any government who is going against any one of those is a wicked government. Now, the government should influence and enforce the last 6. So marriage is significant. We should fight for that. The life of the unborn, thou shalt not kill. You should fight for that. Why? Because it's in the last 6. It's part of the civil law. Any nations who does not abide by the last 6 commandments will eventually fall. And these nations, when they start falling from the last 6, they eventually mess with the first 4. You could actually, when you study the Bible, you'll notice in Esther's situation, Mordecai, why did he do that? Well, he was in a position of power and control and covetousness, breaking the 10th commandment. What did he eventually do? He reached over and touched number 1. He wasn't Mordecai. It was, what was the name of the guy in Esther who wanted Mordecai to bow to him? Anyway, he went into the first 4 commandments and touched one of those. When you go to the book of Daniel, when you notice in Daniel chapter 3, when the 3 Hebrew boys were thrown in a fiery furnace, why did they go there? It's because a political system touched one of the first 4 commandments. He told them, listen, I want you to bow down to this image. If you don't do so, you're going to be thrown in a fiery furnace. What did they say? We will not bow. What happened? A death decree came to place. When you study these Bible stories, you have to notice how they fit in perfect parallel with politics. No government should be messing with any of the first 4 commandments. But if a government does not enforce the last 6 commandments, that the government will eventually fall. And if you notice what's going on in the United States right now, is that similar pattern. What's under attack right now is the last 6 commandments. Honor your mother and your father. They're getting involved in that as well. They you doing whatever they do to the unborn child in the womb is okay. If you notice, like they laws, even like the state no longer prosecute adultery. I was listening to something, they say, no, if a person commit adultery in a marriage, we don't touch that individual. There was a time that was an issue. Even even promoting family values is also encouraging adultery. So if you notice any of the Six Commandments is under attack, watch out, because eventually when the Six Commandments are under attack, the last six, remember the first four will eventually, one of them will also be touched. And this is the issue here. That's how you have to know how to put the difference between separation of church and state. Look at the 10 commandments and separate the first four from the last six, and you can tell what the difference actually is. Anyway, much more could be said about that. That could be a whole another study in itself. Anyway, friends, we are done here. I got somewhere to go at 1:30. Darth Vader, would you mind having a final word of prayer for us as we bring this thing to an end?
Okay. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We come before you today, and we thank you for this time we've been given together to go over these things and these world events. And we pray that you watch over our country in this time of need. We pray that you awaken people's eyes to the truth of the matter, that they are open to see that there is one path that leads forward and one path that leads backward.
Mm-hmm.
And we also pray for those in chat that may have needs that we may not know what they are, but you do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what those needs are, and we ask that you meet those needs. We also ask for those in Discord who have needs, that you meet those needs.
Amen.
And we also ask that you be with Pastor and strengthen him on his journey, as he has a lot of work on his shoulders as he does his work in your name. And for all these blessings you're about to bestow, we thank you.
Thank you.
In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. All right. Thank you, everyone. It's been a great day. Thank you, Darth Vader. It's been really fun hanging out with you today once again.
Of course.
2 weeks from now. Special thanks to all of those of you who are joining us. No problem, my friend. No problem. We actually hit 100,000 subscribers this week, so I just want to thank the Lord and thank you. Thank you. So, Darth Vader, we gotta work on your channel.
Yeah.
Part of it is my fault. I'll take some blame, but I got a lot. Like you said, you prayed for me, so you already know. But
I know.
Yeah, I just gotta.
It takes a lot of work being a pastor. I know.
I'm telling you.
And having a full-time job, and you got a house full of kids. I believe me, I get it.
Yeah, it's pretty intense over here. So anyway, thank you, my friend. We'll stay in touch. And for those of you, these videos will be posted on the channel, as well as Darth Vader as well. So stay in touch. Thank you for hanging out with us today. All right, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.